Backwards and hi, we are live on here. So I'm Trajan. This is my wife Micaela, and we wanted to jump on here to share our financial journey to achieving financial independence and retiring early. And I'll start by sharing or having a little rant about some articles I've been reading recently. One is going around today on LinkedIn about an article in the Atlantic basically saying that we should all accept a lower standard of living because things are tough, the economy is tough, and we're not going to have as high a standard of living as our parents did. And this week, the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, gave a speech, and he said basically the same thing. He said that the time of abundance has passed, and we all need to realize that things aren't going to be as good as they used to be. And while I think that acknowledge the economy of the world is having a lot of tough times and decisions that countries have made has made things difficult for countries, it doesn't mean that we can't get out of debt, save money, and work toward our own personal financial independence to have the dream, the life that we want financially. So we're going to share our journey about how we did that, how we got out of debt and achieved financial independence in 6 years. So Micaela, why don't you start?
So we got married in 2014, and for our wedding, I bought a $3,000 dress. We went on a $10,000 honeymoon. At the time, we had a client that was paying us some real good money, and it was like, yeah, let's pay that. That's totally fine to spend that kind of money. And the week of our wedding, was it the day before, the day of, a week before?
I think it was the day before.
I think it was
the day before we got the notice.
It was the day before that client was having some hard times, and so they were going to drop their spending with us to less than about a quarter. And it was fine. It's okay. Don't worry. It's only going to be 2 weeks. It's okay. And then 2 weeks turned into 6 weeks, and 6 weeks turned into a couple of months, and eventually the company folded. And all the while it was costing us $6,000 a month to just provide our services for them. And so we were losing money on it for a while until it died, and we stopped providing a service to a dead company. But because we had spent so much money on our wedding, had a different lifestyle, we flew through our savings. And as we were trying to support this company, we just kept flying through our savings and collecting debt. And pretty soon we had $200,000 of debt that we needed to clear up. So in 2016, Trajan came across the FIRE movement. And if you haven't heard of the FIRE movement, definitely look it up. We'll explain more about it here, but it's Financial Independence, Retire Early. And it's a way of doing your finances that says, I'm not going to stay in the rat race. I'm not going to stay under corporate control until I'm 65. I want to live my life now. I want to be present parent with my kids, or I want to travel while my knees are still good, and so that was very appealing to us to do that. And it's available for everyone. Everyone can hit FIRE. It's not meant for millionaires. It's meant to create millionaires. And so we started our FIRE journey in 2016 with $200,000 in debt that made up, you name the debt, and we had it.
Student loans, consumer debt, medical debt, car payments, family and friends, money we had borrowed, taxes. We had it all. We did everything.
All of them. We had all the debts. And by 2018, during 2016, 2017, we put our nose to the pavement. We lived on rice and beans. We Airbnb'd our house to cover the mortgage.
Moved in with our parents.
We were childless at that point. We didn't have any kids, so it was easier to have just us move than our kids. But
you were pregnant though.
I was pregnant with our first kid. we canceled our Prime. We changed our internet provider.
We didn't travel out of the state for a year and a half.
And we're big travelers. We didn't travel out of the state. There were lots and lots of things that we didn't do. We didn't go out to eat. We thrifted. If we bought anything, it was a thrift, or it was like from the clearance. Like if it was food, it was clearance food, or I mean, we got our spending very low, and because of that, our savings ratio to our spend ratio kept going up, and so we were able to clear up more and more and more of that debt. And Dave Ramsey puts it as a debt snowball, and that's a very good description of it. Is that at first you're just paying off $100 of debt, and then $200, and then $300, and then $1,000, and then $2,000, and pretty soon you're paying off more debt. And as you're doing this, you're also trying to grow your income, and we were growing our income. So our shovel got bigger and our debt was getting smaller. And in 2018, we cleared up all that debt just right after we had our second child. And our first child, we had to finance their birth. And our second child, we were just able to make a payment on our card for their birth. And that felt so good to not have to take on new debt. I think it took us like 10 months at least to pay off our first child's birth, if not longer. And the second one, just 18 months later, we were able to write a check because debt snowballs work quickly.
They're very hard in the beginning. Paying off debt is very hard, like a snowball, getting it rolling. You don't see a lot of progress, but the more you go, the easier it becomes.
It does.
And then once you've got that debt paid off, then that same amount of money you've been allocating towards your debt, you put into investments. You still keep the same budget, still live on beans and rice, still be frugal so you don't have to be frugal later, but you allocate that same money into investments. And that's when it starts to get fun. It was actually really fun paying off our debt.
It was
because we did it together, and we got to cross those off on the fridge every time we paid it off.
And we had a goal together. I mean, it helped our marriage a lot to have a goal in common and a mindset in common, and to be working towards something. And I mean, there's a lot to be learned in struggle. I mean, there's a lot of growth that happens when you're uncomfortable, to be sure.
Yeah, when we first started this journey, I was very uncomfortable talking about money at all. And we did something that has been life-changing for us when we started on this journey, and that's every Sunday night we'd have a meeting together where we'd sit down and go over our budget. We used Mint to track everything we spent, everything we made, and I would log into that every single day and look at it, review what we were spending, and I'd log into our bank account every single day. And previous to that, I would just not even think about it or not want to look at it. I didn't want to look at the bank account because I know it had $8. So it was hard for me, but very rewarding to face the music, face the fears, face the ugly music, write down all the debts and realize like that's the number. Holy crap. I didn't realize it was so big.
Did you know we had $200,000
I didn't know, not until we added it up. I didn't know it was so big because I didn't want to look at it. I knew we were in debt, but I didn't want to look at it. So facing the music is hard, but so rewarding to see that 200,000 go down to 199. It seems like it was such small progress, but every Sunday night we'd go through that budget, go through what we spent for the week, talk about ways we can improve for the next week, what our upcoming expenses were. And then Micaela planned all of our food, what we were going to shop for, what meals we were going to cook, what she was going to cook, and what we were going to do. And that actually saved us a lot of money planning it out ahead of time so we don't impulse shop. So if you go to Costco, they will not let you out unless you spend $500.
It's true. I asked an employee one
time. They will revoke your card. So we would write down what we're going to spend and then go just specifically get that thing, and it cut out all of the impulse buying, and that actually saved us a lot of money and helped us continue to keep going. But a secondary effect was that meeting was we became a lot closer because we learned at least I learned how to communicate about money. We learned how to do something very hard together that took years, that we were working on it for years, and we worked on that goal together, and it helps us be a lot closer because of that. And then we did it. So we were able to make check off getting out of debt, checking off becoming financially independent. 2 huge life-saving goals that we're able to do together. And you don't get those opportunities very often.
Yeah.
I'm not saying get into debt so you have that opportunity, but we can look at it. We looked at it as an opportunity. And I think Micaela said, we're sharing this not to brag about what we've done, but to share that it's possible. It's possible for everybody to get on this journey of financial independence, despite what the media says, despite what these articles say about how tough times are, which they are tough for a lot of people. We acknowledge that, but it's possible to get your finances turned around and to work toward being financially independent.
Amen.
So if you want to talk more about this or hear more stories and get resources about how you can get out of debt, get to financial independence, what moves you can make, then come over to our website at invinciblerobots.com and check out some of our resources. And we would love to talk to you about how we can all do this together and keep improving our financial lives. Thanks.